Welcome back, and of course we're just left with a few minutes, less than 20 something minutes to finish up. Well, my math is not that good, you'll have to excuse me. My name is Masika Steam and you're watching Smart Men's Business. Our is here. Well, from Monday to Friday, and today is the last day of the week, and of course we're also going to be signing out and of course going to enjoy ourselves for the weekend. So if you have a plug, if you have something, plug me in, I could join you, whatever it is. But anyway, we're still discussing matters to do with mental health and how different people discussing it, and of course members of parliament also understand what it means to be in a mentally unstable environment, whether work, whether home. So definitely we have to make sure that we have a conducive environment for every one of us to live in. Whether you have money, whether you're broke, anything could happen. Let's do away with things that try to disorient our day-to-day programs. Okay, if you're young, do relate when it's time to be in a relationship, because I've seen a percentage of it actually for the youth is due to relationship issues. Yeah, I know heartbreaks, can we do that? But then move on, eh? Like they say, there are very many fish in the ocean. You can have many alternatives available for you. Even domestic violence, if there is domestic violence, if there's a lot of child labor, go to report to the police, eh? And of course, something could come up for you. Well, we have Honorable Eddie Kwizera, and of course, he is also giving us his view on mental state in Uganda.
Saying that is good health, a good asset in life. First of all, is that health allows you to do everything. Good health. So with good health, you can do everything. But with bad health, you can't do everything. Secondly, with bad health, it means you can spend a lot of money. If you have bad health, like you are sickly as a result of different conditions, whether eating badly, whether over drinking, whether smoking. So you can see that the lifestyle can shape your life. So good health is wealth. That's what I would believe myself. So good health gives you to save economically, and you can save money. But if you have bad health and you never saved, then it becomes worse. So it should be better that everybody has good health. And if something that brings bad health, then you avoid it. Because having bad health has a relationship with to touch on your expenditure on the money. So you live well so that you make a saving. When you don't have when you don't have bad health, it means there is a saving. But if there is bad health, there is expenditure. So it means good health comes from good lifestyle and good feeding. So that's why it should be that you feed well. And also good health and bad health is related to what type of things you put in your body. Do you put in a lot of alcohol? Do you put in a lot of water? Do you put in water? What do you put in? Because you put in, not all of it comes out. An example is like those who eat like pork. There are some of this food that can stay in the body for more than 20 days, but people don't know. And there are some of this food that you eat that can stay in your life, in your body, for about 3, 4, 5 months, unless you remove it. Some of the food that you eat don't come out. If they don't come out, then they become poison. When it becomes poison, it does affect your health. So your health becomes affected, and you affect your income. That's another problem. And secondly, when you are affected as an income, as a leader of the family, then you also affect the life of your children and your family. So your health as a leader of the family can also affect your children and affect even your relatives. So your relatives can also contribute to your health because you have bad health. So health is something that is holistic and should be taken very serious. The employer-employee relationship in terms of health, you pay that person well, you enumerate very well, and you work in accordance with the time. The hours you put in will enable you have a settled mind. If you are paid badly, your mind will not work well. Because if you have a lot of debts, even the output in your work, the worker you put in, is affected. Because instead of looking at the professional work you are doing, you are looking at how will I pay rent, because I'm paid less. So if you are a journalist, you have a family, your rent is 1 million, yet your salary is less than 1 million. Every time you are looking at how will I pay rent, not how will I professionalize. So we should pay people well to work well. And we should make sure that we allow them time to rest, such that they can also time to think, because you can work and you don't get time to think. So we should prepare for work. So you should enough time to work, enough time to prepare for work, enough time to rest.
Well, of course, quite amazing points whereby Honorable Kwizera, he talked about something. He's quite a funny character. Well, of course, which is true, I must agree. You cannot be in debt and then concentrate on work. So please, pay up employees so that they could have a good working environment. Well, of course, regarding the legal and ethical obligations regarding employee mental health, these are some of the things we could look into. Well, employers have legal obligations to provide a safe and healthy workspace for their employees, and this includes protecting the employees from psychological hazards such as stress, bullying, and harassment. So once in a while, it's your obligation as an employer, to go ask around how they are doing, so that the moment they open up to you, you can actually find means of finding a solution for them. You never know, they have debts like he said, or maybe they are having issues with family. Yeah, so reach out to them. It's your responsibility as an employer at the end of the day, because if they are underproductive, there's gonna no work is gonna be done. So it is your obligation as an employer to make sure that your employees are of the sound mind, so that they can be productive at your work. Well, employers also have a legal obligation to respect the privacy of their employees. Yeah, and of course this means the employers cannot collect or use information about the employees' mental health without their consent. When someone comes to you and they're like, you know what, I'm stressed, I'm depressed, keep it yourself. Give them a word or two so that they can be comfortable. Don't go spreading word. Oh my goodness, he's not okay. I think he's battling with issues to do with family. The wife beats him up, or the husband beats him. No. Be private. Let the conversation that you've had between the both of you stay in between. And of course, employers also have a legal obligation to accommodate employees with disabilities here. Give a chance to, by the way, I feel like if someone is vulnerable, those that people with disabilities, I feel like they should be prioritized, not because it's favoritism, but for them they are vulnerable, yeah? So you respect them as well. Yeah, accommodate them. If they have the skills that are required, why not give them space? Because also the stigma within the environment, within the homes, the communities, is also not good. So if you could actually learn to prioritize them, know that they are having a few challenges, that means mental disabilities, that is. Yeah, in terms of mental disabilities. If someone has PSTD, if they have anxiety, find ways of making sure that you put them in the right state of mind. Just imagine someone is on air and they have maybe PSTD. How do you prepare them to be on air if something freaky comes about? Yeah, and of course, employers also have a responsibility to create a workspace culture where employees feel comfortable talking about their mental health and seeking help when they need it. Well, create a good environment for work. Have half-year, whatever, breaks or end-of-year breaks. Once in a while, buy them like drinks, so that they can be comfortable at their workspaces. And of course, some of the things that employers can do to support their employee mental health are developing and implementing mental health policies, that regards privacy also as well. And of course, providing training on mental health for managers and employees. So that should be actually key. I believe now that if even anyone is setting up a company organization, they should prioritize mental health as key. At the end of the day, what policies have they set in place? If someone gets a burnout, do you give them, give them a break and you know what, go home for 2 days, then you can come back when you feel all right? Or maybe it's when you miss work, you're gone. Just count yourself indefinite suspension. That is also psychological in a way, and it's detrimental to their health. Well, of course, creating a supportive workspace culture where employees feel comfortable. Yeah, like I'd said, also providing reasonable accommodation for employees with mental disabilities. Yeah, of course, mental disabilities actually do occur with different occasions, because I have had a neighbor. This is giving you Lugambo, but then I know someone actually who got attacked by thieves. They took his laptops and phones, and really got psychologically tortured. And this has really disturbed his life, because they kind of chopped his hand off. So imagine that kind of state. So, but he's okay. He's recovering. So definitely, that is some of the things that that employers can really do, so that they can create a good working environment for their employees. Once in a while, do understand them. Speak one-on-one. Talk to them. You never know the kind of challenges they could be facing. Now imagine, like he said, you're spending more than you earn. Yeah, you're in debt, you're thinking, you're working, you're typing a report, but you're thinking, he's going to call me. You're seeing a call, receiving a call. Your debts, the bank is calling you, your children need school fees. So please, once in a while, like I say, when you get time off, go out. Go out, feel free, go out, go to the beach, get a day off and relax. Yeah, that is one thing I would really recommend, because that's what I do. That is what I do. That's a trick I use. Well, of course, just 43 minutes in, and we're left with only a few minutes, 17 minutes in. But of course, recently, actually, there's been a war that has affected lives of people away from now. We've shifted our eyes from Russia and Ukraine. Now we're into Israel and Palestine conflict. And of course, it dates way back in the 19th century. This has been going on, but it became intense in August. And millions of lives have been, thousands of lives have been lost. And of course, they're not going to cease fire. So, at the end of the day, now of course, and now the latest flare-up violence began in May, but of course for us we got to know just recently where the Israel police clashed with a Palestine protester at the Al-Aqsa mosque in Jerusalem. And of course, the clash erupted after Israel authorities restricted access to the mosque during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. And of course, in August, that was May, that was the start, yeah? That was the start of it all. And of course, in August, the conflict has killed more than thousands of people, including hundreds of children, and of course displacement of very many people. And of course this has not only inconvenienced them, Palestine, because it covers the Gulf region, and of course that is where oil production comes in from. So definitely we are affected, those that rely on fuel, for our cars. Now, of course, the United Nations also called for immediate end of violence, but of course, they warned that the conflict could spiral out of control. And of course, it's out of control. They say ceasefire, they're not ceasing fire. But anyway, we have an honorable member here who has something to say on this, because, like I said, it not only affects them as the two nations, but also us, on the US coming in and trying to spread word. So definitely she has something that she said about this whole issue of Israel-Palestine war. Let's hear from Honorable Aisha Kavanda on this matter.
The attack caused loss of hundreds of civilians' lives, and hundreds of Israelis were taken captive by Hamas. Hamas received widespread condemnation in the early hours after the attack. Before that, Palestinians have been on the receiving end of such atrocities, and for them, that happens on 7th, and for them, what happened on the 7th October in Israel has been their daily menu throughout their history. Israel had a blank check for decades to displace, abduct, maim, and kill Palestinian children, women, the elderly, in the name of right to defend herself. In response to the 7th attack, Israel launched an all-out offensive that has claimed the lives of at least 10,000 civilians, 7,000 of them children and women, cut out of water, electricity to Gaza in action that has been described by the world as genocide. Calls from the world for a ceasefire to allow humanitarian relief to be delivered into Gaza has been rejected by the Israeli government led by Benjamin Netanyahu. The purpose of this press conference is to join the world in demanding an immediate ceasefire and genocide to allow innocent citizens receive basic needs and also to have a second chance to normalcy. You are aware that Parliament is in recess. When members of Parliament return, I intend to sponsor a petition to the President of the United States of America through their embassy to ask him to cease supporting such a genocide. I hope that the majority of members of Parliament will sign this petition, which we shall deliver 2 weeks after Parliament will resume. Well, it is well known that Israel is being supported by the US, UK, and other Western governments in the genocide. The people in those countries have been loud and clear in rejecting the stand of their governments. Massive demonstrations have taken place across US and Europe by right-thinking people from all races, faith, and political persuasions. Thousands of Jews, in whose name the Zionists claim to be killing innocent people, have come out aggressively to denounce Netanyahu and his group. While Israeli propaganda has, for years, played the religious card, pointing at Muslims against Jews and other non-Muslims, the world has finally seen through it and is speaking with one voice, the voice of humanity. After all, thanks to the power of social media, images of Christians, some of them even journalists killed by the Israeli soldiers over the years, have been watched and shared over and over by all. We call upon the people of Uganda to join the rest of right-thinking people of the world to condemn the ongoing genocide in Palestine and to participate in all efforts to end it, including putting pressure on their government to declare its stand on the matter and denounce the genocide. It is very surprising that this government has not come out up to this time to show their stand on the humanitarian abuses that are taking place in Gaza. Ugandans should be concerned, for, as we all know, when a home of Israel was being discussed, led by Britain, Uganda was one of the 2 places that had been proposed. So in essence, what is happening in Palestine would be happening in Uganda today. This war is about liberation and self-determination. It is about reclaiming land that was forcefully grabbed to create space for a new state called Israel. Just like the Mau Mau in the 50s and 60s and the ANC in the latter years were called terrorists by their enemies, so the Hamas today. We owe it to the Palestinians to stand, to support them, and to call out the Western governments and other puppet governments who support the genocide of a people. We hope to mobilize the population, and I hope to mobilize members of parliament to sign this petition to achieve this. And in the coming days, we will be consulting widely on how to have the right thinking Ugandans to make their contribution to lasting peace, not only in Israel and Palestine, but in the world. Let's not be casual about this war. It could easily result into a third world war if what we hear countries in support of Palestine's, I beg your pardon, it could result into the third world war if what we hear countries in support of Palestine's right to self-determination are saying and doing in response to the Israel genocide. To our friends in Israel who are being driven to the cliff by their murderous government, we are with you. And together we can cause our governments to change their murderous ways and choose peace over death. The path the Israeli government has chosen is unsustainable. I must say that Ugandans must tighten their belt. We already have a struggling economy. And you know what oils do to our economy? When the Gulf is disturbed, we all suffer consequences. We have had almost all countries around that area, they are at the verge of joining this war. Once the oil sector gets disturbed, we are going to suffer consequences. You just don't think that these are issues with the Arabs, they do not concern you. They actually concern you. A destabilized Arab region actually affects the whole world. That's why we must do everything possible to ensure that this war comes to an end, or else we are likely to suffer equally like the people down there. First of all, the economic situation here also affects the politics and affects the security of the country. So we are not safe either. No one is safe with the insecurity in that area.
Well, of course, I don't think I can add on, but anyway, to be cautious that, like I told you, this does only affect them. You'll be like, oh, those are Arabs, you know, they are responsible for oil. OPEC is all there, all entirely there. So definitely be on your knees praying so that they can cease fire and come back to harmonize with each other. And of course, also the neighbors planning to also join in. We are going to be in for it. So definitely let's find alternatives on how we can survive for these coming months. Well, of course, my name is Mercy Katsime, and of course, it's just 6 minutes to the top of the hour. And of course, it's been lovely having you from 7, all the way from 7 till now. Of course, you can catch us, just in case you missed, you can catch us on YouTube at Smart24 TV. Then, of course, we have Twitter, X, on Smart24 TV in now, and of course you can catch me on my Twitter handle, and you can DM me or maybe send something if you want any topic to be discussed. Mkaslin, MKACILYN, and of course we could discuss more on that. Of course on DSTV we are on channel 372, and of course on GOTV channel 320, and of course we are here Friday, and of course coming up shortly is going to be financial markets. But until then, please do have a clear mental state of mind. Today is a Friday. Please do whatever it is to make sure that you really make your weekend productive. Go have time, family time, go visit a friend, go to church, do whatever makes you comfortable, whatever gives you a clear state of mind. And of course, till next week, of course, as we await the royal wedding, please be safe, but then don't drink and drive, okay? Enjoyment is on you. Let's have a productive Friday. Till next week, my name is Mercy Katsime. Catch you then.